226 kilometers. Swimming, riding, and running. That's a really long distance over a really long period of time to make sure that you can call yourself an Ironman. I sit down in this episode and talk to Tony Jackson Scholarship recipient Daniel Frost about what it takes to prepare for an Ironman competition in normal times, as well as in COVID times when you're limited to where you can go and how you can train. He gives some great tips for people that are looking into taking part in the event, but it also gives you a really interesting insight into the mindset of somebody who has to prepare for something like this mentally and physically weeks in advance. Very quick introduction. Daniel Frost, athlete, business owner, dog dad. What other titles am I missing? Am I missing other titles?
Good question. Motorsport enthusiast. I don't know. That's about it, really.
It's really hard to define yourself like that, isn't it?
Yeah. How do I define myself? Adventure seeker who isn't though. You've got to find something that makes you gets the heart going. Yeah, it's really hard to describe yourself, isn't it? No one ever does.
No, only when you're doing a job interview.
Yeah. Well, even then I struggle.
Yeah, same.
Tony Jackson Scholar. So 2017, I was training for my first Ironman. I had done 4 halves at that point, half Ironmans. I got to the start line of Ironman, got to the swim, the roughest swim that had 20 years in Taupo. It was choppy. It was like a 1.1 meter swell. It was nasty.
Yeah.
But made it to that. There was the biggest swim failure on record that I had. That people were vomiting and all sorts. It was motion sickness, those horrible things. Got through that, 60 k's on a bike. My bike, major failure, 3-month-old. So I went back the following year to tick it off. I wanted to be an Ironman. That was the goal I had. And applied for the Tony Jackson Scholarship. That's honouring a memory of a guy that did the first 28 Ironman New Zealand's, as you know the story.
Mm-hmm.
He, leading up to his 24th, diagnosed with a brain tumour. And the first question he had for his doctor was, having been told he got 12 weeks to live, I can still do Ironman in 10 weeks' time. And he did, and he did another 28, did another 5, and 28 in total, and then passed away. So there's a scholarship in his honour, and he helped a lot of people. He was always encouraging, and so I went to apply, and I was like, that's too hard to sell myself. And then my girlfriend did it for me, and I got the scholarship, went and did it, finished it, got it done, went back the next year to do another one, got 43 minutes faster. Then, yes, a scholarship winner. Like I've never really won anything. I was going to say I'm not academic, but I am. I'm quite smart, but I've never put my hand in for things, and so that was quite a very honour. And they've just actually announced the latest scholar announcement. So we all us past scholars are welcome to the family, because it is a big family. It's not just you and a few coaches. You've become part of this whānau, this family. It's very, very cool, very supportive.
I think it's a very Kiwi thing that we don't like putting ourselves forward.
I totally agree. Like, we don't.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Like, describe yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So the scholarship obviously opened a few doors for you, got you down there meeting people and sort of the higher echelons of the organising team in that, I'm guessing. How do you feel that scholarship has inspired other people?
What, the scholarship I got?
Yeah.
So I got a Facebook page just more documenting what I do. And I actually funny how I think I help other people as part of the reason I got the scholarship with the Tri Club. I was in the committee for 9 years, president for 3. Just giving, I like to give back. Like, I've got so much out of the sport. Like, I started, I was 150 kilos. I actually put on a bit lately, but that's all right. We'll get to that.
It's lockdown. I've only ever met one person who lost weight during lockdown.
Actually, this lockdown, I've lost 2.4 kilos. So
Oh, well done. Okay, 2 people.
the last lockdown, I didn't. So what was I saying?
But you need a shave?
Oh, that was it, like half an hour ago.
Oh,
Okay. Giving back at sort of how I got it, just paying it forward. And a lot of people, there's a guy I met through social media, Denny down in Taranaki, from the way, and I actually nominated him for the scholarship, and he got it. And he reached out on social media and said, "Oh, you inspired me. Thank you. It's really, really cool." And then like what he was doing, and like he's raised $100,000 for there's a trust down that way that wanted a room at Ronald McDonald House and needed $100,000. So I'll do it. I'll sort it out. So very, very cool guy. So yeah, I've inspired people. I go to events and people know who I am and I don't know who they are. Like so much so where I was doing half Ironman in Tauranga and with my girlfriend and a friend of hers who's she was doing her first half Ironman. She's done a lot of sprints on Olympics. She's been to world champs like 6 times.
Wow.
The only reason she hasn't been is because it's COVID the last few years, really. And she's doing her first half, and like we're walking down to the race, and people are like, "Oh, hey, how are you? Oh, cool, good luck. You're inspiring me," stuff like this, and then all morning, like, and then I'm standing there pre-race. I'm in a wetsuit, swim cap, goggles. All you can see is this kind of thing. But the opposite of what you can see now. Like now it's masked, all you can see.
Yeah. It's the Batman look.
Well, now it's the other way. Like
yeah.
So, and people come, "Oh, hey, yeah, congratulations, you're awesome. It's fun to go well." And I'm just like, "Oh, I don't know who you are, but you know who I am. You need to see this kind of thing." It's just bizarre because there's 500 people there in black rubber costumes, kind of thing. It's quite bizarre in a way. And then later on that day, I went to we'd done all the race and everything, and I was back at the motel chilling like I do. And I'm always like, "Yeah, let's go to prize giving." I never win anything, but just seeing people and it's quite cool, and watching people hobble around as you hobble past. And we're there, and people are asking, and because I wasn't actually going to go, like the first time ever, I'm like, "Oh, no, you're going." Girlfriend says, "Oh, we're going to meet Kat. Remember you said we'll go meet Kat at Pros and go for dinner." I'm like, "Oh, that's right." So we went and did that. And then they had a most improved run thing that year, and I want to watch. And then when we were walking from Pros giving to dinner, I get stopped and talking to people. And then afterwards, like at dinner, talking to a couple of pro athletes that I've become friends with, we'll sort of catch up with them at races and things. And all very down to earth people. Even some of the foreign pros I'm friends with, all very down to earth. It's one of the things about Ironman and like long course triathlon is the pros people.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a lot of the way like that, sporting in New Zealand's like that. You can get near the pros, and like I've been to some of the Americans that come out here, like professional world champion athletes. And you can access to them, you can talk to them, and they're normal people, unlike some other sports where they're just this real elitist. So it's I think I've gone off. Oh yeah, so we had talking to them, and then when we were leaving, we decided we're getting ice cream because we deserved it. We walking along, and then people asking me questions, and at the time I was a Blue 70 ambassador that had been opened up due to the scholarship, and I saw the owner of Blue 70 New Zealand at the time. He's like, "Oh man, well done, awesome, that's pretty cool, blah, blah." And then because my friend, she'd actually won the fastest female swim time, she had a voucher. She didn't realise who he was. And then we carried on walking with our ice cream and stuff. And I keep getting stopped. And girlfriend says to me later on, Kat asked me just before, "Is this normal?" She said, "What do you mean?" All the people that are stopping and talking to them, is it because they saw him win the watch? And she goes, "No, that's just normal when we go to these events. There's heaps of people that know him and he doesn't know who they are." It's just the norm now, and it's quite bizarre.
Yeah, you're famous and you're not quite sure how to handle it.
Well, it's just water off a duck's back in a way. And I'm like, I don't know, there's probably not many people out there that understand Ironman. There's less than 1% of the population that's done one, and I've done 2. And well, I've done 10 halves. What's that? That's 100. I've got to do some quick maths here.
That's a long distance. A very long distance.
Well, each Ironman is 226 kilometers.
Yeah. So if you times that by 7,
Yeah, 7. I've done it. So that's 1,582 kilometers of racing.
that's impressive. What's the length of the country?
I don't know.
A bit. I don't know either.
Probably more than that. But that's racing. That's like you're in Auckland, I'm in Hamilton. That's 226 kilometers. Me swimming and biking and running to your place and back.
Yeah,
thing.
which is not something I would recommend because the bridge is a hell of a thing to try and ride over.
Oh, absolutely. Actually,
Yeah.
swimming up the motorway here would be quite difficult to start.
Not the other day.
Yeah, true. You had a bit of moisture.
My neighbours actually got flooded out for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I've got a really low backyard, and that looked like a rice paddy field. They've got like a sub basement, and that filled with water. Yeah, and then the next day the fire department's there, and security assessors are showing up, and everybody's all sort of masked and social distancing, and very surreal situation.
Like the world hates us at the moment.
It's felt like that this week, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, so Ironman, you've got 17 hours to do it. My first one, I did 15 hours 43, and the thing is, no one's ever asked me, like, say, I've done an Ironman, and they go, oh wow. No one ever goes, because so many people I see go, I did my first Ironman, I did 16 hours 48. I'm like, so? No one will ever ask you when you say, here's my Ironman finishers medal.
Yeah.
No one will ever go, oh, what did you do? They'll go,
wow.
Did what? Yeah, so it's very all inclusive. And like I've got friends, I'm in a international triathlon team called the Cupcake Cartel, started by an expat Kiwi, he's an Aussie. And it's all very inclusive. And we've got some, like, for example, I've got a few friends here in Hamilton that are in the cartel with me. And like one of them, she's been to Kona, Hawaii, the world champs 6 times now. She's actually qualified for this year, but it's not, it's been postponed to February, so it's not happening. It's not happening because there's huge cases of COVID in Hawaii now. It's a problem.
Tourist destination, and they keep the doors open.
Yeah, so it's a big range of people that do Ironman. I've got friends that he can do an 8.5 hour Ironman, and I've got friends that he does. He's proud to do a 16 hours 58, and he's done 16 now, and I think the fastest he's done is 16:43. So
because it's about finishing.
Yeah, it's about finishing, and no one's ever going to take away from you when you say, "Look, I've done an Ironman." Oh, what was your time? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I had Cameron Brown, who's a very famous, he's an Ironman athlete. He's won Ironman New Zealand 12 times. He's the only person in the top 10 all-time male Ironman athletes that hasn't won the world championship.
Wow, that's got to be a thorn in his side.
He's got second and third twice. First time he got second, he phoned up his wife. This is live, they were filming it. And this is back in the 90s. No, early 2000s. They're filming, phones up his wife. And it wasn't like I've come second. I've won this much money. He did the maths in his head because it was like $50,000 US.
Yeah.
And for athlete, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money for most people.
But yeah, he's the only athlete in the top 10 in the world, top 10 like greatest to not have won the world title. He's the only one to dominate an event like that. And he's not just won Ironman, he's won other Ironmans. I've met him a few times. He's so down to earth, it's crazy. What were we talking about?
He was calling his wife.
Oh yeah, he called his wife. I won this much money. Like, how? What? I come second. But yeah, it's a very inclusive sport, and it's a wide variety of people, and it's just a fantastic atmosphere.
Of all the professional sports that I've worked in, which to be fair is not a huge amount, but there are some there, it's got the oldest average competitor.
Yeah.
It's something like 34, 35.
Yeah, it's mid-30s. It's people think you need to be young and fit, you need to be mature.
It's an endurance thing. Young and fit isn't going to get you all the way.
It's not a case of 15 hours on race day for me. It's actually 9 months beforehand.
Yeah. So tell me about that 9 months. Obviously, there's two Ironman competitions, official Ironman, like big Ironman competitions each year. There's the half in December and the full in sort of March, April.
First weekend of March.
First weekend of March.
Yeah.
Down at the Great Lake there. Where we are at the moment with COVID, level 4 in Auckland, level 3 in Hamilton. Some event organisers are reckoning this is going to go through till Christmas, level 2 till Christmas. So how do you plan for, how do you get sort of that training regime knowing that there's a big question mark at the moment over whether or not that can go ahead? How do you stay motivated for it?
How do you do anything with a big question mark over its head? There's a question I have for you.
The whole point of the show is to ask you guys these questions.
Yeah, I know, but that's it. Like, you've got to think. You can't just break it down to one aspect of your life. What if, what if, what if? You can never go through life going, what if, what if, what if, because you'll get nowhere. It's scary. Like, so I took last season off, having done the sport for 10 years. I needed a break from it. Like, that's 20 hours a week training. And that's not working part-time, that's working full-time. Like, I've got a business, so I've been, when I was training, then I was spending 40 hours on the tools and then 10, 15 hours in the office. And then 20 hours training on top of that. And it's quite busy. Well, you don't have a normal social life, but you do. It's a different normal. It's a new normal. You've got like-minded friends that, that you train with and you socialize with, and they will understand you're going to bed at a So I just needed a break just to make sure it's a sport I still love, which I do, and I'm going back to it having had the season off. So I've got a long-term, well, not a long-term goal. So March next year, the same day as Ironman, they have a half Ironman. So that's my goal. That's 25. Calendar was nothing on there. 25 weeks away. And then go back the following year, so 23, to do Ironman, back to Ironman, finish my third. You just have to set a target and plan for it. You can't what if. You can't think, I'm going to hold off on my training until I know for sure, for your mental health and physical health and other people's health around you in a way. You've got to do it. You just can't. You just got to plan for it. You just go, well, this is the set date. So use your training programs, and you put in that this is the race. And you set up some goals and you just work through it, and you just set out your plan and adapt your plan as you go, because life and fitness and things. And
so this year just been, the event got moved a month because of an outbreak as well. Was it 3 weeks this year?
3 weeks.
I know, working with the athletes I was working with at the time, that screwed them over mentally. They got to a point where it's like, there was a 2 or 3 day before the event, or before we were supposed to go down to the event to set up for it. And suddenly everything changes and everything moves. You've got all of these athletes who are in tapering. So for those that don't know, tapering is obviously where you stop doing your training, basically let your body recover before you go into the event.
Back off, not stop training.
Yeah, back off. Back off is probably a better way of putting it. And so they're in taper, and then suddenly they've got 3 extra weeks where that's too long for tapering. Your body starts to change a little bit in that respect. Did you meet many people who were thrown by that? Because I know I did. I met a few people who were just completely out the window with it.
I kind of know. Is that even a sentence?
Yeah.
So my first Ironman, I DNF'd. I snapped the bike. And my mindset that day was, once I finally got back and out of my race clothes and stuff, was I got to support my mates. There's a big community of athletes that it's an individual sport, but you do it together, you train together, and what am I trying to say here? The support network around you is pretty good. I know a few people that freaked out that I don't coach people anymore, don't have time, but they were all freaking out. I just reached out and said, look, does what it is, talk to your coach. One of them was self-coached, and I actually come up with a plan for her. So look, no, that's what we need to do. You can ramp back up a little bit and redo it, and it's good. So yeah, I heard of a few that absolutely freaked out and lost it. Then others were just like, oh, it's COVID era. What it is.
Yep.
Just like everything at the moment, like at the moment, we're walking around on eggshells, currently in level 3. It's making work difficult. It's making everything difficult. Except for the KFC drive-through last night when I drove past.
Oh, the lines there will be insane.
We supported a local business. They do like Texas barbecue and online order. There, pick it up real quick. It was good. They were busy. They were pumping out orders too. Much better than other brands. KFC.
See, I've had a craving for a mint milkshake.
Oh, I would like a pie from the Kiki Bakery.
Ooh,
You know,
it's amazing what you miss though. Like it's only been a couple of weeks, but it still feels like it's the same.
Not really missing it, but just like everyone's like, oh, you know, you see these massive drive-through queues at McDonald's and KFC, and I'd love to go down the Grassy Mile and see what it's like at Beacon Winters.
Oh, it would be, yeah. I've heard horror stories about Greenwood Street.
Yeah. So, there certainly was. There's a Facebook group for training for Ironman New Zealand. One of the years they always just the day after Ironman they change the title to the next year.
That's very productive.
And it's like they did it a few years back, and they were amazed at how it went. And there's just so many people posting and, oh, where do I get this product from? And who's tried this and that? And I'm having this issue with my bike and things. And it's just this massive support network. And there's people on there like that have done, 20, 30 Ironmans, things like this. It's so the support out there for an individual sport. It's an individual effort, but it's not. So like race day is a massive celebration of what.
Oh, it is. It's a party atmosphere. Absolute party atmosphere.
That's what you're trying to get to, is the party thing.
Yeah. And I'd have the party beforehand, but I'm not an athlete by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no, I had the party on the run. There's the unofficial aid station. These guys about 10, 12 years ago went to a stag do weekend away in Taupo stag do, not realising it was Ironman weekend.
That's bad planning.
Yeah. And a mate of mine, he did the same thing. They didn't realise, and he saw it. I could do that one day, and he's done a couple now. He good training buddy of mine now. So yeah, where they were staying was right next to the run course, like further out, sort of back end of it, not near the finish line because it's out the back loop, so you do. And they set up this table and they were offering beers. Because they were on the last stag weekend there, offering drinks. And now they're there. They've got this same spot. They've got this table, and they'll have some spirits. Like they had Fireball and Jaeger. You could do a shot. They had beers you could scull. And like when you swam 3.8 Ks, 180 K bike, and you're on your last lap of the run, you've got like 6 Ks to go, and you've seen these guys, and they're there all day.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the run, they're all day cheering, and they've come for the last like 10 years.
That's
like
really cool.
It's like this event they've made amongst their friends. I remember actually chatting to them when I was having a beer. Don't tell the course official. Having this beer, and they said, "Oh yeah, this is our get together because we're all in different sort of parts of the country, even the world, and let's make sure that our key mates we get back together and have that you can't see my hands, that bonding time together."
Yeah,
which is quite cool. Like that's their check up on mates, their bro call, I suppose, which was very cool. So yeah, they come and support athletes because it's bloody hilarious. Actually, that's cool. Some people no, can't have it.
So, 2 very quick questions for you. How do you compensate for the limits that you have on training under level 4 and 3? Because obviously you have to stay local, but you're doing an endurance training that tends to take you sort of a lot wider than a local scope.
Yeah.
And what advice do you give to people to cope through lockdowns?
Call your mates. Seriously, call your mates. I've got a chat group. I've got some friends. I've got a couple of chat groups actually. One with my triathlon cupcake cartel. we've got a memes thread. It's hilarious. It's like 4,000 memes on this thread. Yeah, communicate to people. Either it's your partner or if you got to communicate to your partner and your family. Can't see me doing this. Communicate to your partner and family and your training buddies, and just don't bottle shit up. As for training for myself, I've actually got a training room which is on the other side of the wall. When I say room, it's in my garage. It's nicely set up. I've got a smart trainer, so a majority of my bike training is actually indoors. I don't go outside on the bike during the week because I don't know if you've seen him idiots there on the road.
Yeah, I live in Auckland.
Yeah, when you've got a training session to do that's like an hour on the bike, but really to get anywhere safe to do it, you've got to ride for half an hour. And if you've got an hour session, it's pretty much ride it and ride back and you're done. So I just don't call a smart trainer. You can train anytime. I've got a treadmill as well. But at the moment I'm just base building, so it's not big. It's not big stuff. It's just getting back into fitness. I've been very busy with work. Yes, I've taken on 2 staff this year, so I've gone from myself to 3 within the space of 6 months. It's not a headache at all.
This is a video, remember?
Yeah, I know.
Don't let them see you roll your eyes.
I didn't roll my eyes, honest. What was the question again?
Getting through COVID training.
Getting through COVID training. Just do what you can. If you can't go to the gym, you do strength work. There's other stuff like YouTube. So I tell a lot of people, like, you want to find what's the strength workout I can do. Like, literally, you can grab tins of spaghetti and do strength workouts. There's lots of opportunities. Don't in your community groups. There's whatever your sport is, especially if you're doing triathlon or Ironman. Jump on the Training for Ironman page. There's so many athletes that have done it multiple times, and you're not alone.
Yeah. All right. One last question for you. How can people find you online?
By Googling.
What's your inspirational page? Like, I know you've got a page out there to sort of show how you're training and give people a bit of inspiration to get into what they're doing. What page is that?
You go on Facebook. It's Triple Cheeseburgers to Ironman and beyond. It was originally Triple Cheese for Ironman. I've done the Ironman thing. Still doing Ironman, but everything else I'm doing. That actually came from a newspaper heading up that title.
I'll make sure there's a link in the bio underneath so that everybody can jump on there.
Instagram, Frosty Triathlete. That's all I've got.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's my business page, which is Endurance Electrical.
Do you want to give the business a shout out?
Sure.
Why not?
Oh, they pay my bills.
Yeah, that's true. And Ironman is not a cheap sport.
That's a myth. I think it's an absolute myth.
Yeah.
Yes, it may cost you $1,000 to enter.
Yes. But
triathlon is anything you do, you make expensive. If you get into tiddlywinks, you buy a $10 set of tiddlywinks, and if you get good at it, you'll buy yourself a $100 set of tiddlywinks.
The majority of people that I've met with Ironman through like doing Ironman, it's the one goal that they've got. So they, and I'm sure after they do the first one, they're like, well, I could do that again, or I want to do the half, or they want to keep going with it. But it's hitting that goal to start off with. So they balk a little bit at the $1,000 wetsuit, and then at the $8,000 bike, and then the $500 pair of shoes, and yeah, exactly. But if it's something that you're only doing once, that feels like an expensive outlay.
Secondhand. There's so many people. Like you watch Trade Me and Facebook Marketplace after Ironman. Here's my Ironman setup. I'm one and done. I say I pick up a lot of gear secondhand because there's a lot of people that are a little bit elitist and they've got to have the new thing on their bike because the old version that's 6 months old is 4 grams heavier, stuff like this. So you can pick up some cheap gear, or people buy a new bike and they're like, I don't like these brakes because they're X brand. But they're the same thing. So you pick them up real cheap, and it's just about being smart.
I want to thank Daniel for taking part in this conversation today. Having seen firsthand just the amount of effort and raw emotion that goes into an event like this and taking part in an event like this, it's fantastic to get an insider's perspective on what it takes to actually get there. If you want to learn more about Daniel and what he's been up to, or follow him on his official social media pages, just check out the description below. There's a few links in there. And join us again for another episode. Until then, have yourself a great day.